Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The time is now 7 o'clock. We will now open our Toastmasters meeting. At this time, may we all please stand to recite the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we will continue with the second part, and we will read our club mission. Our club mission is that we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let's remember our Toastmasters International values, and they are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. At this time, I see that we have two guests. We are honored. Counted as an honor and a privilege to have you with us today. At this time, if you don't mind, would you please stand, state your name, and just tell us why you're here today.
My name is Anna, and I want to be good at public speaking and presenting for college, or during college.
Awesome.
I'm less than yeah. But I am also a group fitness instructor, so any opportunity to learn to communicate better is always a wonderful thing. So
Okay.
Madam President, I would like to add for everyone's information that Leslie and Anna have been communicating with our Vice President membership for a couple of months, I think, for a while, and they've been interested in joining the club. Anna is 17, so technically she's not able to become a member of Toastmasters International, but she is going to be coming to meetings with her mom, who is planning to join us, and we're going to give her as much opportunity to participate in meetings as we can. She just won't be able to get credit for doing official speeches and evaluations because she can't really be technically a Toastmaster member yet. We're going to make her an unofficial member of our club if we can do that. Madam President.
Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. At this time, you just came at the perfect time. Welcome. We are honored to have you with us tonight. And do you mind standing, telling us your name, and share with us why you're here?
Dwayne Morris from Inman, South Carolina. I'm here as a friend of Mr. DAHLSTROM, and get to be able to join you tonight. I've heard a lot about Toastmasters. Very curious, and just kind of come to see what it's all about and support my friend Alex.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I tell you, Toastmasters is the place to be, especially if you want to build your speaking skills, your leadership skills. It is like a public speaking class on steroids, for sure. We're here to support one another and to build one another each and every time we meet, which is on Monday, every Monday at 7 o'clock. So we do welcome you. We welcome you to come and join us again and again until you actually join us.
And then they're still welcome.
And then they're still welcome. Okay, so at this time, we're going to go into any club business. A couple of things that we have going on before we discuss our agenda. Coming up, we have the holiday season, the Christmas season coming up, and we like to do a celebration just a holiday celebration, a social gathering where we all come together. And instead of us having an official meeting, what we will do is just have a social in which we are just hanging out and socializing, which is what we do, right? We have a location. The location will not be here because we would like to invite guests to come and join us. So it's also an opportunity for us to basically market ourselves, because we do pride ourselves on our membership and building members for the club. Greg, if you don't mind sharing with us the location, he is ultimately responsible for our location.
Sure. So with the generosity of my church, so whoever the grammarian is, mark that, I used the word of the day already. But my church, Tuckapaw Baptist Church, I'm sure you've all heard of that church, has been gracious enough to allow us the use of their life center for our social. We could probably fit about 200 or 300 people in the life center. It's got a full kitchen, bathroom, so it's a pretty nice place. We just have to be responsible for, what have you. But if you don't know where StarTech, South Carolina is, that's where Tuckapaw Baptist Church is located. We'll get the address out to everybody. StarTech is probably 15 minutes from here. It's right near Duncan and Lyman, so it's not hard to find. So hopefully you'll all come out. Hopefully, Cheryl, you'll come out, and we'll see you at Tuckapaw Baptist Church. Thank you, Madam.
From my understanding, we will be hearing more about Tuckapaw Baptist Church tonight from Greg's speech. Yes, so with that being said, we would like to determine any volunteers or call for volunteers, ideas concerning the celebration. So the leadership committee, we sat and we discussed somewhat what the celebration would be like, but we thought that would be better to let everyone have an opportunity to give their input on the celebration. So from our standpoint, we were thinking just come in, fellowship, eat, be merry. Any suggestions?
So I think what the Shane's asking for is we're looking for a couple of volunteers to work with Greg, which will be heading up the committee plan our holiday gathering. And if you would be willing to work with Greg to plan that, and so we'll all bring food, but we need to coordinate who brings what food, so that we'll end up with 50 cakes and chips or something like that. And we need to and it's not going to be a strictly organized activity. We're just going to be a time of socializing and talking with each other. We need food, we need setup, we need cleanup. So we need a couple of people to help plan that, and to organize it, and then to get people in the club to do all those things that we need done. So who's going to volunteer?
What's the date?
The 20th, December 20th.
December 20th, thank you, the Monday before Christmas.
6 to 8, right?
6 to 8, yes.
Yes. So don't everybody volunteer at once, do it one at a time.
Volunteer.
Thank you.
Just write it down.
Any other volunteers? The Tates?
And new members are welcome to volunteer as well.
Yep.
If you want.
Did I get on tape?
You don't know if you're in there.
No.
Sharice?
Thank you, Sharice.
Anyone else?
I would, but I'm gonna be out of town
All right.
Oh, we gotta,
in Charleston.
Yeah, going home.
Bring back the bush to wash this.
Sounds good, John. Cheryl, do you wish to volunteer?
Cheryl, do you wish to volunteer?
To be on the committee?
No, well, to help with the social we're gonna have.
The plan.
I can help. Yes,
Thank you, Cheryl.
you're welcome.
Okay, all right. And if anyone ever changes their mind, Greg is your man. All right, that following Monday, that's the Monday after Christmas, The club will not meet. We will not meet that Monday, so just keep that in mind. Enjoy your family, enjoy time off, educators. So much needed. The Monday after Christmas. Yeah, yeah, we will not meet. Okay. All right, looking at any other club business before we go into today's agenda. All right, so looking at today's agenda, it looks like we are covered in every area but speaker one.
I'll put speaker one in addition to the evaluator.
Okay.
And the general evaluation, whoever's evaluating, Bearcat's now evaluating me.
Okay. Cheryl.
Did you get to evaluate me instead? Now put my information in the agenda as we speak.
Okay. Cheryl, did you catch that?
I believe that I heard that Lee is going to speak in Bearcat's place,
That is correct.
and I will evaluate Lee. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we just want to let you guys know, anytime there's an opportunity to speak, I would encourage you to take that opportunity. I'm talking to myself as well, because I know it's very daunting to speak at the last minute, but that is also a skill that we all need. And Lee, he's very, he does not mind.
Bring it on.
He gets it. And because of that, he moves through his path very quickly. So take that opportunity and speak. Maybe I'll do it the next time. Maybe. All right, at this time, we will move on into our meeting. We have a jam-packed meeting tonight, right, Alex?
Yes, ma'am.
Our Toastmaster of today, I present to some, introduce to others, Mr. ABERCROMBIE.
Howdy, folks. Hope everyone's doing well. I mean, thank goodness we made it through Monday. That deserves a round of applause. Let's hear it. But yeah, so I think I got with a few of you guys beforehand, and I got some puzzled looks on faces or text messages back that would have communicated puzzled look on people's faces, because the theme for today is Thanksgiving, but not the turkey. So I'm sure all of you guys are thinking, well, what the heck does that mean? Well, I guess what's the first thing that comes to mind when we think of Thanksgiving? Well, I'll be honest, it's usually turkey. It's usually the Macy's parade in New York, all those big floats of everything from Pokemon to Looney Tunes, just everything whimsical you could imagine. But really what it comes down to in Thanksgiving is being thankful with what has been generously given to us or blessed. So today, really the theme that I'm working with is talking about the unsung heroes, or things that are mixed blessings that we don't really think about being thankful for every day. So like for me, for example, an example is breaking my arm my sophomore year. That kept me out of football for 3 weeks. But it was a mixed blessing because in those 3 weeks, I decided to run cross country. And it was those 3 weeks that was the best 3 weeks of my 2010, which led me to become a distance runner full-time as my sport. Or going back with running, thinking about Dwayne knows this story very well. The coach at Clemson not letting me walk on my senior year because I only had 2 years of eligibility left. But because I had free time and I had to go back into prayer and think about what I needed to do, I ended up starting my Bible study. And that gave me the courage to get up in front of people like I am today, and in my financial planning practice to grow further. And I guess another thing that people don't often think about that we should be very thankful for is gravity, which I think is one of the most thankful things we should have out there. Because without gravity, everything falls apart. Yes, we can be brought down by gravity. Gravity is what causes us to fall. But it's also that momentum from gravity that allows us to bounce back and to learn things about ourselves from our falls, to get the full perspective of life and get better each day. So with that in mind, I'm really excited for this meeting that we have today. Great way to cap off a Monday. So I believe I'm handing it off to our wonderful evaluation team with Mr. Lee Holiday as our general evaluator. Lee.
Wow, can you believe it's the middle of November already? Whew, time is flying. I was sitting at my desk at home. You know, I retired. This. So here they are. First of all, for people who had finished a level in Toastmasters when we had our last celebration, they received an engraved name badge. I see one other name badge in evidence in this meeting today. We want everybody to start wearing their name badges to Toastmasters. And you know what else you can do? You can wear this name badge in here everywhere you go. People look at, what's Toastmasters? And I give you an opportunity to tell them what Toastmasters is. For those of you who have not finished a level in Pathways yet, you have an incentive. Finish a level in Toastmasters and the club will purchase you an engraved name badge. Is that a good deal? Great. But they're not free. I mean, to the club, they cost money. So when we buy them, wear them. Please. Item number 2 we want to talk about, and we do have our internet back. I can see myself on screen. Wow, that is so cool. We are beginning to practice recording our club meetings. There have been a lot of people saying, I wish I could hear my speech after I've done it. I wish we could go back. I missed that meeting. I wish I could have heard what we did in that meeting. So we've been recording meetings, and as incapable as I am not an expert at this. I have been putting those recordings for 2 or 3 weeks now into a file on YouTube. I've created a channel, Spartanburg Toastmasters YouTube channel, but all those recordings are right now shown as unlisted, which means nobody can get to that recording or see that recording unless I give you the link. And I've been sending the links to club members, but we haven't been publishing that link outside of our club, because one of the things we need to do is ask, would anyone object to us making our meeting recordings available publicly, like on Facebook and places other like that, where we can showcase our speakers and what we do in Toastmasters? If anybody objects, well, let's do it this way. Everybody in favor of doing that, raise your hand up high. Even guests, yeah, go ahead and raise your hand, Leslie. There you go. Anybody concerned about publicizing those videos? I hear or see no objections. I'll give you one last minute because we don't want to strong arm anyone. So what we will do is Greg, you now have permission to start publicizing our videos. One of the things
Mr. Secretary, just as a point, as being in the city right now, in order to do so, you'll need to add a release to the agenda.
You might have to help me do that after.
Okay.
Okay. So, but let's make sure we sort of cover this in future meetings for at least a few weeks to give everybody a chance to acknowledge that the meeting is being recorded and they are cool with that. But this is a good way for us to publicize our club, and hopefully we'll have good enough meetings that people will want to participate. So now I can get to what I'm supposed to be up here doing, that's being the general evaluator. As general evaluator, I lead a team of people who will help us determine how well we did this meeting. We have a couple of evaluators. One of them is on screen with me. The other one is sitting back there on the right-hand side. They will be evaluating the prepared speeches done for tonight. My prepared speech is going to be a hip pocket speech. Whew. I don't know what I was thinking about. Oh, well, you're okay. But in addition to that, I have some other team members who are going to describe their roles. What's very interesting is our 3 other team members on my evaluation team tonight are some of our brand new members. I am so excited that they're participating tonight. I'm going to ask them to stand and describe their roles one at a time. And the first one I'm going to ask to stand is our grammarian word master, Randy Riddle. Randy, come up here.
I will be your word master today, and that means that for everyone who comes up here to the lectern to speak, I will be recording any filler words such as like, so, you know, things of that sort. I will also be recording how many times we use the word of the day or its forms, and any interesting phrases or words that I catch, I will also be writing down to give a report at the end of the meeting.
Our next assistant in evaluating this meeting tonight is a very important role. Everything we do in Toastmasters is timed, well, almost everything. And our timer tonight is one of our other brand new members, Jamil Tate. Jamil, can you come up here and tell us what you'll be doing as timer tonight? Come on.
Thank you. Based on the time that the speeches are, so speaker one's supposed to speak 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll do the green light at 2 minutes, yellow light 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and red light at 3 minutes. And speaker two speech is 5 to 7 minutes. So I do the green light at 5 minutes, the yellow light at 6 minutes, and the red light at 7 minutes. And then table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. So I do the green light at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the red light at 2 minutes. And then we'll have 2 evaluators, and those are normally 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll do green light at 2 minutes, yellow light at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and red light at 3 minutes. Thank you.
So Jamil and I had a chance to go over that timing, and she delivered what she will do perfectly to you. The only thing is, Jamil, you don't know, because it just changed like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Our first speech is going to be me, and it's going to be a 5 to 7 minute speech. So the green light will be at 5, the yellow light at 6, and the red light at 7. Sorry about throwing that curveball in at the last minute. Our vote counter tonight is another brand new Toastmaster, a lady who came all the way from California to join our club. Please help me welcome Charisse Thomas.
Everybody. All right, so I'll be counting the votes tonight. So we'll be counting the votes for best speech, best table topics, and best evaluator. All right.
Thank you. So just so you know, you have little sheets of paper in front of you like this. And One of the things that you'll do during the meeting is you can write notes to the speakers. And we want you to write notes to the speakers, what you thought about that speaker, about how well they did, and what impressed you about the speech, and any suggestions you might have to them. Write a few notes down there to give to the speaker at the end of the meeting. Then at the bottom of this, there is a place ballots to vote for best evaluator, best speaker, and best table topics. We will have a vote, and you'll pass those ballots around to Sharice so she can count them. Cheryl is online, and I will help collect her vote and give it to Sharice as well. And she will tell us who won best speaker, best table topics, and best evaluator at the end of our meeting. One last thing before I sit down, I do this only because they mentioned it to me, is that our guest, two of our guests tonight, are going to have to leave a little bit early. Doesn't mean they're mad at us. Doesn't mean they didn't like the meeting, but they have another appointment they have to get to tonight. They weren't sure what time our meeting was going to end. So we'll understand if you have to slip out, but we'll look forward to seeing you next week if I don't get a chance to say that before then. At this time, I will turn control of our meeting back to our very capable Toastmaster today, Mr. Alex Dahlstrom.
What's funny is I'm about to welcome them back up here because Lee is also our first speaker. So imagine some amazing description of a speech, because that is exactly what we are about to get here. Lee, come back up.
Before you start timing, Madam Timer, I will tell you that, as I mentioned a while ago, the time for my speech is 5 to 7 minutes. I have started a new path just recently. It's persuasive speaking, I believe is the name of the path. And I'm doing the second project in there, evaluation and feedback. Evaluation and feedback project has 2 speeches in it. I'm doing the first of the 2, which is 5 to 7 minute speech. And when y'all give me feedback to this meeting, then I'll do another speech and I'll try to incorporate that feedback to make my speaking even better. How about that? Okay. So the title of my speech is 3 things you need to succeed. There are 3 simple things that will help you succeed in anything that you want to accomplish in your life. 3 things. No, it's not money. Money will not make you successful. You can have millions of dollars and still not be successful at what you want to accomplish in life. Being successful might bring money, and it might not. But having money is not one of the 3 things you need to succeed. No, it's not a big break. People get chances all the time to do something better, but they don't capitalize on that. That is not what makes people successful. Having that big chance doesn't get you in the door. You have to have something else. No, it's not having a millionaire friend or relative who are going to support you your way to success. It just doesn't work that way. What are those 3 elements that will help you make you successful in anything you want to accomplish? Every one of you has a dream, a desire, a goal, an ambition. Some of you may have forgotten what your dream is because you hadn't even thought about it in a long time. Some of you, like our 2 financial wizards in here today, probably talk about it almost every day when they talk to their clients. But we all have something deep inside of us, something we want to succeed at, right? Think about what that is for you as I talk about these 3 elements that you need. The very first one is you need to be clear about what your goal is. Sometimes you can ask people what they want, and they fumble around for the words to come up what it is they want to accomplish. They don't know how to put in words what their dream is. One of the things I would suggest to you is you begin to formalize in your mind to express specifically in words what it is you want to accomplish in life. Once you accomplish that, you will have taken giant strides to be successful at doing that. Years ago, somebody once told me that if I would write down all the things I needed to do or wanted to do, then over time, things on that list would become evident. And I thought, that's crazy. So I spent some time. I actually did this at the end of a calendar year. I began to write down the things that we really needed to do in the next year. I didn't have any idea how we'd get all those things done. And I put that list away. I didn't pull it out the next year or even the year after that, but I came across that list sometime later. And I began looking at the list. Hey, we did that. We did that. Went right down the list. We had accomplished everything. We had taken the time and effort to think about enough to write down what we wanted to do. Know what you want. Know what your dream is. Know what your goal is. Write those things down. It will help you. It's one of the first steps of major success to reaching your dream, to being successful. The second item for you to think about is to have a burning passion to doing what it is you want to do. I know some of you might find this hard to believe. I have a certain amount of passion for Toastmasters. I love Toastmasters. You know what I love about it? I love it when I have 3 new members like Charisse and Janelle, Mill, and Andre sitting there, and soon to be new members at the end of the table that are going to be part of our club. You know what I really like? There's going to be a point somewhere along the way when they start figuring out what this Toastmaster stuff is. And that's a little bit involved when you first get started. How do you use the club website? How do you use the Toastmasters International website? What is Pathways? How do you do all this? There's a lot to figure out how to do the day-to-day stuff that we do in Toastmasters. But once you figure that out, then you begin to see, you will begin to realize what Toastmasters can do for you, what it can mean to you. And I will know when you figure that out. You know how I'll know? I'll be able to look in your eyes and I will see a spark there that all of a sudden this Toastmasters thing is making sense, and you can figure out how it's going to help you reach your goals and dreams and ambitions. That's my passion for Toastmasters. I've been in Toastmasters for 23 years. I didn't start with that as my goal, to be in Toastmasters 23 years or to help new members in Toastmasters. I started just to figure out how to do the speaking thing myself. But what keeps me in Toastmasters is those new members who come along and seeing them reach levels of success. The third step that you need to accomplish your goal, to have success, is to come up with a strategy for how to achieve your goal. You have to think about it one step at a time. One of the opportunities I have as club secretary and as head of the mentor committee for our club is to help those new members get started in Toastmasters. And I actually give them a list of 20 things, list of 20 steps you needed to do to get started in Toastmasters and be well on your way. Now, all 4 of these new, I was leaving Randy out because he's sitting on this side over here. I've got 4 new members here, Randy too. I gave all 4 of these that list this past week. And so now they know how to accomplish their goal of being a successful member in Toastmasters. Whatever your goal is, you need to be able to write down what the steps are to get there. When you start accomplishing those goals, those individual steps, all of a sudden you'll get there. So what do you need to do? You need the what, you need the why, and you need the how. Write down what it is you want to accomplish. Write down why you want to accomplish it, and make that a passion inside of you. And the third thing is the how you're going to accomplish it. Break it down into daily tasks you can do to reach your goal. That way, you will find ultimate success at whatever you want to do. Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, shoot, that was incredible. That was like an Eric Thomas level motivational speech. So well done, Lee, as always. Can we have 1 minute on the clock for people to write their feedback for Mr. Lee? And hand that over to him. Just, yeah. Awesome. Well, I guess while we are doing that, I will just, yeah, basically introduce Mr. Greg here, who is talking about, I think I have his title over here. I was trying to do it extemporaneously. I guess I do need my little cheat sheet here, which, I mean, the title is Autopsy of a Dying Church, Part 2, which I don't think I saw the first one, so now I'm bummed. Y'all did? Well, shoot, I wish it were recorded. Good plug there. But basically, so Greg is tackling his motivational strategies pathway, and he is doing the second project in this. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech on, yeah, Autopsy of a Dying Church. Take it away, Greg.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, and of course our guests. I don't like a podium in my way when I speak, so I'm just going to move that out of the way. So a few weeks ago, I spoke on a project in level 4. And this project, I'm tasked with performing an autopsy on my church. How many would like that fun job? Okay. And although I'll share the results of that autopsy, what I'd like to speak about tonight is more the process of being tasked with this daunting, scary task. In the book I mentioned last time by Thomas Rainer, Autopsy of a Dead Church, there are basically 4 types of churches. 10% of those are healthy, thriving, vibrant churches. 40% are somewhat sick. 40% are very sick, and 10% are dead. Now, would any of you know if your church is sick or dead? So, just like you might not want to perform an autopsy on a body, you would. I learned very quickly that the members of my church, Tuckapaw Baptist Church, weren't too keen on an autopsy of the church either. And so I had to put together a team of folks to perform this duty. So mistake number 1 was we picked members in the church who had no other roles of leadership in the church. I learned through the process that we really needed at least 1 deacon to join us. Now, our pastor did join us, so he does have that leadership role. And so he was there to kind of guide us and help us along the way in some of the ministries in the church. I soon learned that being the leader of this group, that everybody saw me as I was the bad guy. I'm trying to tear the church down. I'm trying to say that there's something wrong with the church. But in reality, I'm just trying to figure out, are we dead? Do we just have a little cold? I mean, you know, what's the real issue? So we called our group or our team the Church Health Assessment Team. There again was another mistake. I mean, just that name alone makes it sound like something is wrong with Tuckapaw Baptist Church. So in reading Thomas Rainer's book, Autopsy of a Dead Church, there are 4 symptoms that would indicate if you're extremely sick. One would be, have your numbers declined steadily over the past 5 years? I'd have to give a check mark to that one for my church. 15, 20 years ago, there were probably 200, 250 active members in our church on any given Sunday morning. Today, we average about 60 members. So in part of the process, we formed a team of 6 people. My role was one leading the group, of course, but I also was tasked with looking at the budget and the finances of the church. I guess they thought a financial planner might have some insight on that. I don't know why they would think that. Others in the group were tasked to studying the demographics of the community. Another member was tasked with studying the demographics of our membership. And so through this, we learned that one, StarTex is no longer the community it was 20 years ago or 50 years ago. You know, Tuckapaw Baptist Church was formed 123 years ago, back when StarTex was a thriving mill village. The folks that lived in StarTex, they worked at the mill, they grocery shopped, you know, at the community store, they went to church in that village. They were a community. So we learned through our process and our study that today StarTex is a mixture of everything. We have Asians, we have African Americans, we have Hispanics, we have Russians and folks from Yugoslavia. So we have a very diverse community, of which none of them attend Tuckapaw Baptist Church. Our next mistake was joining with the Spartanburg Baptist Network and the South Carolina Baptist Association. They were the ones guiding us through this process. And the thing we learned through this process was they had an agenda. Okay. Their agenda was to plant a new church, not help Tuckapaw Baptist grow, not help us revitalize and you know, have a revival in our church and in our community, but they wanted us to rent out our life center to a new church and let that new church take over Tuckapaw Baptist Church. I can tell you right now that did not sit well with the church health assessment team, nor did it sit well with the deacons, nor did it sit well with the congregation. We also learned that most of the ministries in our church were geared towards those in the church, not the community as a whole. And that's where we need to shift our focus. We need to focus on what's outside of our church doors. So overall, we discovered that, yes, we're sick, but we're not dead. Okay? We have a church that still wants to grow, that still wants to thrive, and wants to get out there in the community. We just lost sight of that and how to go about doing that. And the first step is pray about it, right? And so to give you the results, again, of the autopsy, we're still there. We're growing, maybe a little bit as it is, but again, we're not dead yet. Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
So right now I am going to have a 1 minute period to allow you guys to write comments to Mr. Gregg. That was awesome speech. Wish I had heard part 1, or maybe I was cooking dinner while you're making it. Confirm or deny that. So right now I'm going to ask also for, I believe, a timer's report for our 2 speeches. Jamil.
Mr. Lee Holiday, his time was 7 minutes and 26 seconds, and Grant Allen, his time was 7 minutes and 24 seconds.
Okay, awesome. So we both qualified by the skin of our teeth. That's awesome. goes for a new member. So if you're more than 30 seconds over on a speech, you're technically DQ'd or disqualified from win award. So everyone made time, so that's really great news. So our next part of the program is probably, what's up? Is to vote. That's right. For your favorite speaker, please send those in, I believe. Well, yes, to Therese. Man, y'all are on the ball today. I love it. Do my job for me. So yeah, so now once you send your votes into there, we are transitioning into our favorite, or my favorite part of the show, which is table topics. So with that, I'm handing it over to John ABERCROMBIE, who is our table topics master. John.
Table topics is that part of the meeting where we do our extemporaneous speaking. Now, we have some guests here tonight. What I will do is check to see if anybody does not want to participate, and that is perfectly okay. Because the first time I went to a table topic, a Toastmasters meeting, I was scared out of my wits. I didn't know that I could even swallow because I was dry. I was absolutely terrified at the first meeting that I attended. Tonight, the topic of our meeting is Thanksgiving, not the turkey. And there are many situations that we find ourselves in. This is a season of generosity. And so as we look at it, there are many things that we find in association with Thanksgiving that don't have anything to do with that bird. Incidentally, Ben Franklin wanted to make the turkey the national bird rather than the eagle, because the wild ones are much smarter than the tame ones that we have. But as a situation that we run into where we find something to be thankful for. I was working as a law enforcement officer and was called because at the local racetrack, there was a gentleman that was being adamant because he was being told that he could not race because he didn't have the right equipment. He needed a roll bar on his Jeep. So we got that taken care of. And I happened to be there when he raced for the first time with that roll bar. As things would happen, there was an accident. The vehicle rolled over and he would have been crushed except for the roll bar. He got up and, believe it or not, he hugged that roll bar. Sometimes we find that there are things that we are thankful for that have nothing to do with the holiday. Is there a situation that you have found yourself in that you are thankful for, and what did you do about it? Sharice?
Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Wow, what am I thankful for? So many things. I'm thankful actually for being able to move down to Spartanburg. It all came about a conversation of being closer to family. You know, want to be with mom and dad as their years go on. And how it happened was that we got the call, we want to come down, we want you guys to be close, they're ill. And then I got a job offer. So I'm really thankful in how the process worked. You know, you don't have plans that's always set in stone. You may have plans, but God has other plans for you. And moving to Spartanburg was not one of my plans ever, to say the least. But it just seemed to all come together. The moving, the getting the job, the getting the house, and being able to go without any kind of problems. So it was really smooth. And so I'm thankful that the travel was safe, the conditions worked out, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy to be able to meet you.
So we see that there are many things in our life that we can be thankful for. Sometimes we expect them, sometimes we don't. Now, out of our guests, is there anyone that does not want to give this a try? Okay.
I'll play.
Ah, okay. Awesome. There is nothing to be fearful of because speaking itself is one of those particular situations and that's why we're here. And we've all been in that boat. But October the 11th, what's special about that? It's special to me because I have Canadian friends. Thanksgiving in Canada is the second Monday of October. Has nothing to do with any of the festivities that we have here, but because of the latitude there, they harvest earlier. And it's a celebration of the harvest. Kind of like that here, but sometimes it's different. Have you found traditions or anything else different about Thanksgiving or any other holiday or situation that you found yourself in that differs because of location or because of what you are normally experiencing? Alex's friend, and your name is? Dwayne. Okay, come up and answer that.
Having the opportunity to travel with family and work, I do I've had opportunities to encounter people from different countries. And the thing that I've discovered is while the holidays may not be aligned, the attitude toward thankfulness is always consistent. People, when they understand blessings that they have because of where they are and what they do and the people that they're with, it typically goes back to being grateful for the people that they celebrate with, not so much the holiday or the event that they're celebrating. Not really totally familiar with other countries, but I am familiar with the fact that this celebration of thankfulness really is an attitude of the heart. So whether you're in America, Germany, Russia, China, once you have something that you're grateful for, then it really comes about celebrating with the people that you love. Thank you.
As we look at the Thanksgiving holiday, in America, it came about because when we had the Pilgrims land on our shore, they were not totally prepared for what they were going to run into. There was weather, there was food, there was a change of climate that many of them had not adapted to. Long comes a time when the first Thanksgiving takes place. And food was shared. Many things were shared at that celebration. We see the good parts of that celebration. But in many cases, the way that it was repaid was that their land was stolen. They were decimated with illnesses. There were treaties that were made that were broken. And sometimes we extend ourselves and find that it is not, we don't receive in return. That doesn't mean that we should not do good, that something has happened, but it is a different side of the same coin. I don't know of anybody that I would want to hear respond to that except the minister in our group, Andre.
Well, I totally agree. You know, as a minister and I guess as a child of God, you know, we sometimes can have big hearts and we want to help people. And sometimes we want to help, but sometimes we hurt people by sometimes helping them. And this is what I'm saying. And I totally agree. Sometimes I get a situation right now. I'm helping out a guy, and he was actually homeless, and actually gave him somewhere to stay, and you know, wanted him to, you know, get a job and, you know, start coming to church. Started coming to church, but then that kind of fell off, and then the working, he never really started, you know, to work and take care of himself. So I find that I'm really hurting him by just continuing to carry him. And you're right, sometimes we want to help others, but it's not, you know, reciprocated. You know, you are helping, but they're not getting any better, or they're not appreciative to the help you give them. So I can understand what you're saying. And when you said that, I was like, I can say something about that. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Well, we've seen a taste of table topics. You never know when someone is going to step up and say, smile, you're on candid camera. But this is equivalent because many of the times that we speak are impromptu. We're not prepared, but it gives us confidence. It gives us an ability to relate. So I think that we should give a hand to all of our participants tonight. And I will turn control of the meeting over to Mr. Dahlstrom.
That's for comment report.
Ask for
Comments report.
Timer's report. Okay.
Cherie, she spoke for 1 minute and 15 seconds. You say Dwayne?
Dwayne.
Dwayne, 1 minute and 4 seconds. Andre, 1 minute and 18 seconds.
Okay, and can we turn our votes in for best table topics person? And while we're doing that, I will turn control of the meeting over to Mr. Alex Dahlstrom.
Thank you. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Favorite part? Never lets us down. So now it is time to hear some great evaluations on our two speakers. And I believe our first evaluator, well, hand it off to General Evaluator, Mr. Lee, who's going to introduce the evaluators. Take it away, Lee.
That Alex Dahlstrom, he's just got everything under control. He's just gonna do my part too. That's okay, Alex. Somebody might need to cover my part. Our guests have to leave, but we wish them Godspeed as they go, and we'll see you next Monday. Our first evaluator, evaluating whoever that first speaker was, Lee Holiday. The first evaluator is, oh, Cheryl Ledford, the speech instructor herself. Cheryl, take it away.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. It is so good to have guests with us. It was my pleasure to evaluate Mr. Lee Holiday. As all of you saw, he is able to literally pick it out of his pocket, his, as he said, his hip pocket. He is that well organized. His title was 3 Things That You Need to Succeed. I like how he started out talking about we don't need money, we don't need to have a break. And his speech was so well organized. As a speech teacher, I've actually been listening to speeches for the last 3 weeks, and some of my students don't have the basic skill to organize a speech, but Lee, you had that. You had 3 main points. And I know a lot of times when you evaluate people, you tell us what you saw, what you heard, and what you feel. And so that's how I'd like to approach my evaluation of you. What I saw was your incredible confidence. You never waver. You were confident, your voice, your gestures. And I'm saying your gestures always matched what you were saying. If you were talking about 3, you had 3 fingers. When you talked about you leaned forward and reached out toward the audience. So that is wonderful. When your gestures match your words, you're more credible and it helps emphasize what you're saying. I also love your eye contact. You never have a problem with eye contact, but it's one of those things I just wanted to point out, especially for the new people. There's a difference of, and I try to teach my students this, there's a difference between talking at the audience or talking to them. You talked to us. You were telling us a story, and I could feel that connection. So you did a great job with that. You also did use great transitions. I did not hear any filler words or crutch words. A lot of times as a transition word, you would ask a rhetorical question, and that was very good. What did I hear? I heard you tell us the 3 main things that you need to succeed. And then you told us a story to help emphasize that. The story about the list, the story about the new, you incorporated the new members, and you did that so well. How I felt passion with your speech. I felt energy. And as Alex said, I felt motivated. I thought you did a great job. That's a great example, especially for all of the new members and the guests, for them to see how, if they continue to work at it, they can do a speech and have it organized and have it come to a full closure and do a great job. So again, great job, Lee, and I'll turn it back over to you, Alex.
Thank you, Cheryl. Our second evaluator evaluating Greg Allen's speech is our club president, LaShane Goins. LaShane, take it away.
Fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator, and to Greg, great job. I love the way you moved this out the way. It showed you for who you are, and it allowed us to connect with you. But I'm sorry, it's coming back. You came up here, and you came up here with full confidence. Your vocal variety started at the very beginning. When I heard your voice, I was like, man, his voice just got a little deeper. It's pretty cool. The one thing is that remember, the one negative thing that I have to say, because your speech was just that great, in my opinion, this is a lectern. Lee has told us that over and over and over again. It's not a podium, it's a lectern, just to let you know. Your gestures were on point. As I watched, they all had meaning. You held up the number 4 when you use the word for. You were opened to us. That allowed us to receive from you as the speaker. You were clear. You were straight to the point. You were very concise. You used your space. as you were speaking. You may have backed up, you may have moved to this side. But not only that, as you were giving us information in your speech, you gave evidence. And as you gave evidence, it allowed us to see the truth in your speech. But also, you were a great storyteller. It was almost like I was there as I was sitting in the congregation, as they were mad at you, making you the enemy. That was really, really good stuff. The metaphors that you used were awesome. I don't know if you paid attention to your metaphors, but the autopsy of a dying church just within itself is a metaphor. But you compared I had the visual of doing an autopsy on an actual human versus a church. That was pretty powerful within itself. Your comfort level was great. Your eye contact was great. And I'm gonna tell you, your ending, I loved, because that was very encouraging within itself. You said, we are sick, but we are not dead. And that lets us know, no matter how the situation looks, don't give up. And I'll be praying for Tuckerball Baptist Church. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's get a timer's report on our two evaluators, please.
Cheryl did 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and LaShane 3 minutes and 21 seconds.
I need to write that down. 3:15 and 3:21. Awesome. Now it is time for us to vote for best evaluator. Please cast your ballot for best evaluator and get those over to Sharice. While you're doing that, I'm going to ask our grammarian and wordmaster to come to the lectern and give us a report on how we've done with our grammar and how generously we've used our word generosity tonight.
Well, with that last throw in of generosity by our general evaluator Lee, we have 5 uses of the word generosity and its forms. I noticed that both John and Alex used extemporaneous or extemporaneously, and I thought those were interesting. Greg used vibrant and daunting, which I thought were interesting words in his speech, and John also used adamant. We had 28 total filler words. About 20 of those were us and and only one of those were used in our speeches by the speakers. That's 29 because I just did it. So for that, I give it back over to our general evaluator.
Thank you, Randy. Now it is time for my report. Everything else has been done. Yes. General evaluators report. I have enjoyed tonight's meeting. It's been good. We've had some energy in the room. We've had some fun. We've had laughter, and we've had a good time together. I think our guests were enjoying it. They had to leave. 2 of them did. One of them still sitting here. He hadn't left yet, so I guess he's okay. Or maybe it's too far around for him to sneak out. No, I'm kidding. But it's great to have guests in our meeting. We hope you'll consider joining our club. We'll give you a chance to talk about what you thought about our meeting a little bit later. One of the things that I've noticed sometimes when we do the Pledge of Allegiance, one of the things I learned a long time ago is there is a phrase in the Pledge of Allegiance: one nation under God. It does not have a comma after the word nation. That all goes together. One nation under God, not one nation under God. one nation under God. It's all one phrase. And so I find myself being an outstander when I recite the pledge, because I always say those 4 words together. I wait for everybody else to catch up. But just think about that as we're doing the pledge, and let's see if we can incorporate the way it was written. You know, those 2 words were added to the Pledge of Allegiance after it was originally written some years later by an act of Congress. But the under God part, but they go with one nation under God. Just think of it. Well, Shane did a very capable job of handling some business that we had at the beginning of the meeting. After calling our meeting to order, having to step in at the last minute for Bearcat, who we learned is not here for a very special reason. He was at the airport to meet his family coming in. And so we'll give him a pass for that one, right? Absolutely. LaShane did a great job returning to her roots as Sergeant at Arms for this club a year ago, and just stepped right in and handled that flawlessly and very smoothly. So thank you, LaShane, for being both our Sergeant at Arms and our club president today and doing that role wonderfully. I like the comments that Alex introduced his meeting theme with. Thanksgiving, but not the turkey. We haven't really focused on that a whole lot, but Alex set it up for us. And we need to think about Thanksgiving as a time of thanksgiving, of giving thanks. And let's not lose sight of that. We might enjoy a time around the table with a turkey, or maybe a ham, or maybe both. Who knows what you might have at your time. My wife has been known to make lasagna at Thanksgiving before, because we try to sometimes break that mold, and that's okay. But I hope you'll enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thank you, Alex, for getting us in the right mindset for that with this theme tonight. Good job. Our 3 assistants that helped out with the evaluation tonight did a wonderful job. Randy, you speak so well. You sound like you've been in Toastmasters for months or years at this point. You come up here and you speak well and very fluent, and we appreciate that. And we're going to see you take that and just extrapolate it on into being a great speaker. Randy's goal is to be a professional speaker someday. And we have the opportunity to invest in him so that he can be that. And one of these days we'll be able to say, I knew him when. So Randy did a great job presenting the word of the day and then giving us a report on that. And we're very specific, and we appreciate your attention to detail that you gave us on that. For our timer, Jamil, nice job. I am the world's worst timer. I get so wrapped up in the speeches, I forget to turn the lights on and off. So you did a lot better than I would do. And you even took the curveball we threw it in because of the change in the first speech, and you just ran with it, and nice job. So thanks for doing that. And then Sharice, you've been Johnny on the spot with the vote counting tonight. We'll hear your report in just a little bit. I won't give feedback about our speakers. One, there's nothing you can say about it. First one, the second one, he's already had a great evaluation done. But I will say that our 2 evaluators tonight were phenomenal, were they not?
Yeah.
They did spectacularly well. They gave very specific feedback to their speakers. They brought out specific things that the speaker did or said or made them feel, and they talked about those things. And that's what helps us as speakers get better at what we do, is to get that kind of feedback. What worked and what we can do to make it even better the next time. I got a note, I'll just throw this in, even though it wasn't what the evaluator said. I got a note from one of our members in this that I was pinned to the lectern. Yeah, I was. I didn't move around up here. And typically I would move around a little bit when I'm speaking. I would take use of this whole speaking area, and I would talk to you and move from place to place. But because this was a hip pocket speech, I would literally pull the notes out of my pocket. And I was having to refer to those notes to make sure I delivered you the speech that I wanted to deliver. So fair criticism, I'll take that. And next time, even if I'm doing an extemporaneous or impromptu or last minute speech, I'll see if I can move a little around up here a little bit and meet that criteria. But our evaluators did a magnificent job, and we appreciate all that you did in giving feedback to your speakers to help them be even better at what they did. I've enjoyed tonight's meeting, and I hope that you all have too. It is my pleasure to turn control of the meeting to our Toastmaster today, Mr. Alex Dahlstrom.
Thank you, and what a wonderful meeting it has been. So our last few things, which are very important. First one is I'd like to turn the control of the meeting over to Therese to announce the winners of our different categories today. Therese.
For speaker, we had Greg, and then table topics was Dwayne, and then the best evaluator was Lachey.
Awesome. Let's do that. Super exciting. So at this time, I'll ask, are there any announcements?
Get some feedback from our guests.
Yeah, great. I guess, Dwayne, give us your thoughts, not to put you on the spot.
What do you
I
think
mean,
about our
this
meeting
is-
tonight, Wayne? Stand up and tell us.
What do you think? Well, I mean, you can.
This is a great experience. What I didn't share earlier is, as a small child, I've had problems with my hearing and speech. And so speech is something that's always been dear to my heart. So I'm very interested in developing this skill. Very impressed with the organization, the energy in the room, the support, and the openness to being challenged is very good, because we all want to grow, right? And we want to be better at what we do, so we have to be responsive. If I could give any feedback to make it a little bit better, I wasn't sure which door to come in.
We're working on that.
Yeah, and even the GPS, it brought me to that intersection. And so then I'm looking around going, okay, got this, and, you know, so by process of elimination, I thought this parking lot would at least get me close by.
So I didn't send my text early enough about, hey, for the love of God, do not try to turn left into here.
Exactly. So some kind of sign or something may be advantageous to get more people's attention on what it goes.
Absolutely.
But it's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So yeah, now at this time, I'll ask if there are any announcements. Anybody? But once? Guys,
Let's put up the,
roles for
Bernie,
the,
can you put up the sign up sheet for the next several meetings?
Sure can.
That'd be great.
next week.
And then click on the sign up sheet. Not coming up.
What are you looking for? I'm sorry. The sign up sheet?
No, it'd be the last icon up there, Bernie. Yes.
Oh, yeah. We got 22nd. So I'm gonna be out of town next week.
We'll need another general evaluator. We'll
So
find
we'll
somebody
need
else.
the general evaluator. We'll be back for next week though.
Our Toastmaster next week will be Greg Allen. Jamil, the grammarian webmaster. Sharice will be our timer. John Frey is down to be our vote counter. Randy is doing his first speech. John McKinney is down to do a speech, and Cheryl, you're up for a speech. And then Bernie will do table topics, John Abercrombie will be an evaluator, Bearcat will be an evaluator, and I will be an evaluator. Just to make sure you all know, if you look up on the far end over there, 1220, we won't have roles assigned for the 1220. We'll be having our end of year social holiday gatherings, fellowship. So be planning for that. And then just so you know, on the 27th, the 2 days after Christmas, we'll take a holiday break for that meeting. So after these 4 meetings that you see here, our next regular meeting will be the first Monday in January.
Okay.
So thank you, Bernie, for putting that up there.
Which I'll be on deck if there are any spots that need to be filled for the 13th, because I'll definitely be around for that.
Okay.
I'm not sure which one I'll be in person for. So I like to be in person for one each month while it's still in the hybrid site.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else in terms of announcements?
Good.
Awesome. Well, at this time, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, guys.
13.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What you feeling better than 30?